Welcome to another In Wheel Time podcast, a 30-minute mini version of the In Wheel Time car show that airs live every Saturday morning, 8 to 11 a.m. Central. Celebrating 10 years of award-winning car talk, it's the In Wheel Time car show, your weekly go-to all things automotive place. Today, coming to you from the Tailpipes and Tacos monthly cruise in at the Lupi Tortillo Tex-Mex, out here on the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard, just south of I-10 in Katy, Texas.
Yes.
More cruisers talk about their rides coming up. Konrad has the car clinic, and we look at this week's auto news in this segment. Howdy, along with Mike out of this world Mars, King Konrad DeLong. We need more Jeff Zekin.
We do.
David Ainsley. I'm Don Armstrong. Glad you could join us today. And
He
thank
looks
you.
so rested.
And a call-out thank you to Jeffrey Heitzman.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you again for filling in for me last weekend. And a hello.
We may need
to
you next
Matt
week, Jeff.
and Adriana England watching. Thank you very much. We appreciate that. All right. So, Mr. Mars, who do we have in the guest seat this time?
One of the things that we saw roll in here nice and early this morning was that pristine white-looking 69 Corvette Convertible. So I went and found Derek
Behind
Garza.
Jeffrey, move. There you go.
Sorry. Pardon me.
I see it.
Pardon me for
Yeah.
doing my job.
Yeah. And beautiful car, straight and narrow, but I'm going to let him tell you about it. Derek?
Well, you know, I have to tell you that was the year that I was working at Richardson Chevrolet, and they always had at least one, maybe two convertibles in the Corvette Corral, which they called the thing on the side of the dealership, and they would sell them, but not at a rate like the coupe.
Really?
No, they didn't. And it's odd because, you know, today a Roadster, it's called,
Is
Okay.
the premium car.
yeah, it's the car to have, and nice car.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Derek, if that
So
came,
you may have drove
if that came
I
through
may have.
Richardson Chevrolet, Don may have done burnouts in it.
He
a
may
long
have
time
just
ago.
burned the paint, is what he may have done.
Yeah. Do you know where
That
the
too.
car? You know where the car was originally sold?
It was a St. Louis build, and it was sold in Indianapolis.
Well, they were all built in St. Louis back in the day. Matter of fact, I had a '77 that was built in St. Louis, and thank God, after that generation, they moved to Bowling Green. Yeah,
Yes, sir.
but because I'll tell you what, that St. Louis factory, they turned out, can I say it, bad stuff.
Oh.
And I'm being nice.
Don't use that language.
Because
But it's true.
But it is true. And the paint was absolutely horrible, and they sold every car that they built out of that factory.
And repainted about 25%
So
of it.
does that have a 350 in it?
It does have a 350 300. It's the base
Okay.
engine.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
The base
Yeah,
engine.
but still, that's a pretty fun car to drive. Automatic
uh,
or manual?
It's an automatic.
Okay.
And absolutely, it's a fun car to drive.
Yeah.
And
They
it
are.
attracts attention everywhere you go.
Yeah, I think the color combination, the Can-Am white with the red interior.
Well, that's the
helps with
classic.
that.
That's
Yeah.
the original color combination on Corvettes.
In
And
70, was that the name of the color was Can-Am white?
69 and yes,
69
Can-Am white.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Because I know that the name has kind of varied through the years. But, yeah, stunningly beautiful car.
Well, at least they semi-perfected the put together of the fiberglass body parts.
Oh, by
because,
then, yeah.
Yeah, because did you ever see an original, Generation 1? I saw number 2, the actual car. And you could see the actual fiberglass
Through
underneath the paint.
Oh, yeah.
It was bad.
Well, and just to validate your point, I met a young gentleman, probably in his early 80s, who retired from that St. Louis plant. I met him at a car show in Cyprus, and he validated exactly the paint quality, or lack thereof, I guess you'd say, in fiberglass treatment. But
Well,
luckily, I had a pretty good specimen.
But
so.
that in 53, that was new technology.
Sure.
The glass, and they were trying to put existing paint over the top of it, not realizing the variation the fiberglass created in the level of the surface.
Gel coat didn't exist.
Right.
Yeah,
So,
correct.
so tell us about your car, because again, one of the other not odd, but unique features of it is you have a luggage rack, and if I'm correct, that's
Yes, it
looks to be.
So it was born with the factory luggage rack.
It was.
Unfortunately, there original owners on the third, and I'll tell you about that in a second, took it off, and we could not find that. So that was one item that I did have to put back on because I wanted to exactly.
Did you find an original?
I did not. I had to go unoriginal on it, and I could have, but because it's even the chrome on it, that's original paint, so I call it my 10-foot car. So if you're 10 feet away, it looks pristine and perfect. You get up close and you can see the spider web, but I would not change that.
You know what? It's a Corvette.
Exactly. And so
they don't like it.
exactly. So it is a numbers matching car. Third owner, the original owner, was the Indianapolis Corvette Club. And he actually sold it to the second owner. He was the president of the Corvette Club. So I happened to see it and had been tracking it for a while. 69 Corvette is what I wanted. I was born a Mustang guy, to be honest with y'all. But as quick as I could, I realized I wanted a 69 Corvette because of the lines. It's just a beauty.
Yeah.
And I was born in 1969, which happens to be the best year ever. So that just kind of cleared it up. So at the end of the day, I found that in Indianapolis. I'm not a big fan of buying a car unseen. So I happen to have business in Columbus, Ohio, and it's about an hour and 45-minute drive. So we made a time schedule to come on out, and I came out and saw the car in Indianapolis and liked it, bought it on the spot. So he was a retired engineer, the president of the Corvette Club, who I brought it from, and he was meticulous. So at least in my humble opinion, I found the right car, but I also found the right seller. And that was very important. So everything was documented, and he had been part of anything in work that had to be done. So when I say that, I mean, he blew up my email. I couldn't even open it. It was so big on the documents he had sent me.
And how that increases the value to know the provenance of the car as well as all the documentation.
How many miles does it have on it?
I bought it with 94.3. It has 97.6.
Nice.
And I bought it about 5 years ago.
That's beautiful.
I'm trying to keep it under 100,000, but I do want to drive it.
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
I mean, you buy it to enjoy.
Exactly.
You know, it's not a trailer queen. I think yours was a bit of a show car trailer queen, wasn't it?
No, it was a garage queen.
But you did
driven very little.
Right.
So I've got a 2001 that has 26,000 miles on it. And you know, I took it to Mobile, Alabama last week. That thing got 27 miles to the gallon.
Yeah.
And it's got a 6-speed manual transmission in it. And you know, it's not perfect. It's not a show car. It's clean. I think I'm the third owner of the car, like you. But it sits, underneath the cover most of the time, and I don't get to drive it very often. Choose not to. I like to save the miles on it. But, you know, I do enjoy it when I do get out and drive it. And that was a 1,000-mile weekend, so it was good.
Yeah, not a
and
trailer
that's exactly
queen,
what I
but a
tell my
queen.
wife when she asks me about, why don't I drive? When I do, I could be on Fry Road, but I think I'm on the PCH. So it just feels great to me, and I just enjoy the car.
Now, you a member of a Corvette club?
I am not. I probably will get back into it. That's not my first Corvette, even though I was born a Mustang guy. I had a C6, an 05 C6, and then I had a 2012 Centennial Corvette. So I've been a member of clubs before. I just really prefer kind of me and my wife in this car, and not a whole lot. And I love meetups. I don't do a lot of car shows. I have done a few car shows, but I love meetups like this.
So much more fun.
Yeah, these cruise-ins are perfect, and we appreciate you guys hosting.
Did you say this is your first time out here,
or? No, I've been out here, off and on. I've probably been out here 10 times over the last year.
With that car?
No, sir.
Okay, I was gonna say.
I've probably brought a couple things over the years.
Because I'd have said, we'd have noticed that car coming and going.
I've brought that once out here. I actually brought out my motorcycles a couple of times and a Jeep that I have, so I've got a few bad habits.
So what are the other habits?
I love Jeeps. That along with Corvette symbolizes freedom to me and Americana. So I love both the Jeep brand and the
Yankee Doodle
and the Corvette. There you go.
Apple pie.
And apple pie, and then Harley Davidsons, and I actually have a Triumph also.
Doris Day.
So
the Triumph.
Yes,
that was always my favorite. I don't know why. Don't ask me. I don't know why.
Yeah.
But I remember in junior high school, one of the guys in junior high had a Triumph, and I just thought that was so cool. And the Mustang. You remember the Mustang motorcycles?
That I do not remember. You got me.
I don't remember a Mustang motorcycle.
Mustang motorcycles.
I think that's right. I think it had a little, it was in cursive on the tank, something that said Mustang on it. I believe.
It had nothing to do with the Mustang automobile whatsoever. Mustang motorcycles.
I'd
highly recommend a Triumph. So if you want to get back in a hobby,
Is it like 650?
Actually, I have a Bonneville. It's actually a T214, which is a commemorative bike they only did in 2015 for the Bonneville speed record that was set in 1954.
Oh, wow.
56. Oh, now I'm getting confused. But one of those 2 years. So it's a commemorative bike, and I bought it brand new 2 years later. They did a holdback for some of the largest British dealers, and I was able to procure it new in 2007.
You know, you seem to be getting these one-off things.
Yeah.
Tell me, he's
So what do? You
hooked
just
up.
peruse the internet all the time?
I do. Yeah.
Always looking for something.
Sometimes at 3 a.m., yes.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's the best time.
Yeah, well, I mean, you know, internet speed is up at that time of the night.
There you go.
Yeah.
Wife's asleep.
And the wife's asleep. So
That's the important
so she
part.
can't see those expensive habits.
All kinds of interesting things on the internet at 3 a.m.
Exactly. So what kind of Jeep do you have? Is it a Wrangler?
I have a Rubicon, yeah.
A Rubicon.
Yeah. That's
A
a
late
2018
model?
JL
Okay, yeah.
when they released that new model.
Right.
Yeah.
And I've owned several throughout the years.
Yeah.
And have you gone to some of the Jeep places?
Jeep meetups?
Yes, and in fact, I'll be traveling to the Blue Ridge Mountains for their Tennessee big Jeep event. We had it here too, and it's escaping me.
It's all right.
We had a version here too, so I've been to the one here in Houston, and I'm going to travel much bigger. The one in Tennessee is much bigger. So.
Sure.
No.
Traveling
Everything's
office.
bigger in Texas.
Good point.
Don't believe all that Tennessee volunteer stuff.
Well, so on the Corvette,
Yes, sir.
has the motor ever been touched?
No, it's original. Other than I actually put an electronic ignition to make it a little more dependable when I do drive it.
You still have a
Outside of that-
carburetor on it?
No, carburetor's not on it anymore. No, I'm sorry, carburetor's on it. I apologize. Yeah, I just changed the.
Did you put a factory HEI on it or somebody else's?
Somebody else's.
So the inset into the distributor, so it still has the small
Still has the
distributor
look,
cap
yep,
on it? Okay.
exactly.
Well, that's pretty cool. But that just makes the car that much more functional where
me too, 'cause
you don't have to do the maintenance of jacking around with points and condenser.
Well, you're absolutely right, and I needed a little more dependability because I had planned to make a driver. If I do take a trip in it, it's not going to be in a trailer. So, cruising the coast down on Mississippi and those areas. And so,
Have you done that?
Not yet.
I've
I'm hoping
got
to
some
be able
friends
to
that do it all the time, and they just love it. They say it's one of the best events they go to. They go down all the way from Tulsa, Oklahoma, to cruising the coast every year.
Yeah, all over the country.
Yeah,
they come
they
from.
just
It's a
build these
huge
little
event.
caravans.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's cool.
So, what are the plans? Just to kind of leave it as it is and drive it?
That is going to stay with me until it's time not to stay with me. I don't know. I haven't identified that. My wife says, "Don't leave it behind," because our son isn't quite as into the car hobby as I am. So,
how old is he?
He's 26.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know. I'd like to keep it in the family. We'll see how that works out. But it's not a car that I plan on selling. It was a car that I wanted, that I dreamt about. Was always a 69 Stingray, and I was lucky enough to find a good specimen. I'm going to hold on to it.
So do you get nervous when people pull up next to you and they break out their phone to take a picture of you while they're driving?
Not at all. Not at all. I don't. I mean, other than picking up the phone. Yeah,
but
they
it
certainly
happens
do
often,
that.
doesn't it?
And you know what? Even at car shows and in a car meetup, today I had my my nephew here and his boy, and let him sit in the car. So I'm not one to have people keep their distance. I want cars to be enjoyed for what they are. So
Great.
I'm mindful of it and make sure we're not touching any buttons that might fall off. But
So
outside of that, we're doing
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
So have you had an opportunity, let's say, to drive it in West Texas at high speeds? This will get you out of any problems.
No,
with it.
just Katy Freeway.
What just I was about to say, you don't have to. The Grand Parkway serves pretty well. Oh. At least I can hear it because we
They
live
went
right
around
off
the
the
corner,
Grand Parkway. No, and actually I probably haven't gotten it. I don't say over 80, 85.
Okay.
at
Okay.
this
You're just
point.
cruising
and it's not
in the
because-
middle lane and
Yeah,
down the
it's
Katy
not because
Freeway.
it won't or it can. It's just that
that's the right. That's
it's
the
a
right
cruiser.
That's the right speed. Yeah.
Yeah,
the right
it's
speed.
just a cruiser for me.
Well, we each get to drive it after the show then.
Sure, absolutely.
By the way, I mentioned Mustang motorcycles. Mustang motorcycles were built between 1946 and 1965.
Is that what you've been doing, Google?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you know about that because you Google everything.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I'll tell you what, I like your attitude, and I like the fact that you know what you have, you know what you sought it out, because, an everyday guy would not know or appreciate what you have. And being a Corvette guy, I appreciate what you got.
You got to know what you want, first of all.
Well, thank you for that. Yeah, and really that was 3 years in the making. Like I said, I was born a Mustang
following
guy.
it?
Yeah, I probably knew more about Mustangs than I did about Corvettes.
Right.
So it took some research, it took some studying, and I actually bought it early. I had planned to buy it for my 50th birthday in 2019. I bought it about a year and a half prior to that because I found the right car. And once I did that, there was no way I could let it go.
Yeah, you couldn't wait.
And my wife taught me that black and chrome isn't the only color to have. She loves white, so I had the wife on my
There you
side.
go.
And
You let her drive it?
That helps.
she doesn't want to.
She doesn't want to drive it?
She doesn't want to drive it. She was more than happy to drive my my late model Corvettes, but she
Or the
doesn't
Jeep.
want to drive that. Or the Jeep, yeah. But will not drive that Corvette. And I think it's got something to do with she's short. And it's not that's, I'm a little big for the car, actually, but she sits very low in it.
Right.
And believe me, if I told you how many times I've had to have wheels done on her car, so let's not have her drive it.
Yeah, you're not really pushing her to get in and drive.
No, yeah, it's not anything I insist
And
on.
she's not here today, right?
She is not.
To defend
gee
herself.
whiz.
Because
Yeah.
those seats did not have height adjustments back in the day.
They
It
did
was
not.
forward and backward, and that's pretty much it.
Well, so one of the qualities of that car was actually, for me being a bigger guy, I needed that tilt and telescoping wheel, so that was important to find. And really, one of the unique things that I learned from the gentleman that I met back at that car show that retired from the plant was that actually is a convertible, never had a hard top, so it was a convertible soft top, and it has a rear window defroster.
Oh,
there
wow.
you go, yeah.
How rare
Very
is that?
unique. Very rare. They did not put many in the convertible.
Well, that's because it didn't have the two tops.
Exactly.
So is it a glass back window or
No.
plastic back
Plastic back window.
Really? So just a fan that's blowing
It's a fan.
interior air on it.
And
to
it
dry
works, but it works like heck, but it works.
Yeah.
So
At least
it
it's
runs.
something.
60% of the time, it works great.
It's
Now,
60%.
is the top
But
been
the
changed on
uniqueness
it?
of the option, though, too, in a Corvette, those options that narrow down the 1 of 50 is pretty cool.
That's exactly right.
Does it still have the original top?
It does not. That was one of the things that was replaced. So I can't really call it, we were talking about that earlier, can't really call it a survivor car because of that top that was replaced.
But you wouldn't want that 69 top on
It's
it
a
because
52-year-old top.
and,
you know,
and
they
that
just
plastic
do.
window would turn yellow and it'd have a big crease in the middle of it. You don't want
cracked.
that.
One
Yeah.
trip down the freeway and it's blown to pieces.
And
So-
I got to be honest with you, I've probably had that top up twice.
Wow.
I put it up to flex it and to make sure,
Sure.
it's stretched out. But as far as driving in it with the top on, yeah,
if
that's
you'd have wanted
useless.
the top up, you'd have bought it.
So somebody wants to buy that. What's the number on that car?
Nothing.
Right now, that's a good question. That market does this.
Right.
And Corvettes, generally speaking, in that year range, especially in the 350, 300 setup,
And
aren't
automatic
necessarily
transmission.
aren't necessarily the most desirable. I got a good deal on that car. So I'm happy with where I'm at, but it's probably going to be somewhere in the 32,000, maybe 35,000
That's the
range
number,
in this market today,
Yeah.
which is a little elevated right now.
And
Yeah.
who do you insure with?
I insure with State Farm because my wife's a State Farm agent.
Really?
Very good. You got all these angles you're working here
know.
on everything.
But
And
he
it's
gets up at,
surprisingly cheap too.
I want to be your next door neighbor. Do you have one? Is the house for
you
rent next
want
door?
one?
There's a couple for sale, not many.
he'll steal
Because-
your internet.
Because I mean, I could definitely hang out over at your place a lot.
Please come on down. We'll do an in-wheel time there.
There you go.
Absolutely. Well, hey,
Careful,
it's
we may
a
be
real
there.
pleasure to talk to you. Thank you so much for stopping by.
And thank you for the invite. Appreciate
Thanks,
that.
Derek.
Yeah. Thanks a lot.
All right, time now here on the In Wheel Time program for Konrad's Car Clinic. And today we're talking continuously variable transmissions.
Oh, boy.
You know,
CVT transmissions.
but let me just say this about that. When they first came out, I thought, the transmission's slipping. Well, in essence, it kind of is. But I will tell you this, that there are applications that a CVT transmission today makes sense.
Oh, yeah. You'll find most hybrid vehicles have a CVT. You know, one of the key things about CVT is packaging. The CVT transmission is much smaller than a 6, 8, 10-speed automatic transmission. Yeah.
All it is two cones in there.
And that's Jeff's going to pop that up for you to kind of show you the what a CVT is. There's 2 cones and a belt, and it's not there's fiber, there's a rubber piece to it, but it's primarily a metal belt in the middle. And like most pulleys, when you look like a pulley on your lawnmower, that the engine crankshaft is turning the blade.
Mm-hmm.
Those pulleys, typically the drive wheel pulls the driven wheel. In a CVT, the drive wheel belt pushes the driven wheel. So that's one of the big. Now,
move on.
Now go back to the first one.
No, that was the first one.
Oh, that should have been the second one. No big deal. So this belting. Go to the next one then. The belting system on them. Both the driven and the drive pulley have cones on them, and as they move the cones in and out, the belt moves up and down on it to change the ratio of it.
Right.
Well, that happens all the time while you're driving it. And you said, it sounds like it's slipping. You can just hold there, Jeff.
Yeah.
And it can feel very disconnected. So early on CVTs, the first CVT transmission was drawn by Leonardo da Vinci in 1490.
On the ceiling?
No, not on the Sistine Chapel, but he was the one to draw the design of a CVT transmission,
cool,
which I thought was interesting. And then the Torridial CVT, which is the other picture where they take the belt out and they put these discs in place that basically do the same thing the belt does, which is give you a variable transmission output. That was first patented in 1886. DAF of the Netherlands produced the first CVT car in production. Subaru Justy was the first American automobile sold with a CVT. And that goes back to your thing about how disconnected it felt.
Oh, my God.
In a Subaru Justy, you would go wide open throttle, the engine would go to 3,500 RPM, and the transmission would pull up to the engine speed. So you would your foot and the sound of the engine and the motion of the car was not in sync.
A complete disconnect.
Motion of the ocean.
So, and then once the transmission got up to the engine speed, then the engine speed would accelerate. It was really weird to drive, very disconnected. And then in 2000, Toyota Prius, all Toyota Priuses and all of the Toyota Synergy drive vehicles have CVT transmissions in them. In 2002, Saturn View debuted their CVT transmission, and what a grenade that was.
Oh, boy.
And then in 2003, the Nissan Murano was the first Nissan product, and Nissan is really the driver of CVT transmissions in the industry right now. So if you go out and look, the big players in CVT is going to be all the Synergy Drive Toyota hybrids. It's going to be all of the Honda hybrids all have CVTs. Most Nissans have a CVT in them except the pickup trucks. Most Subarus have CVTs in them, and Minis have CVTs in them.
For many years, and I'm not talking about current because I haven't really compared current stuff, but for many years, Nissan actually had the best feeling CVT transmission.
And that's where, if you go back, the other picture that we showed, which was the two discs, the yellow discs that were running on the cones, Nissan switched to a toroidal CVT transmission in 2014. And with that, it allowed them to put in what feels like shift points. So what they do is they hesitate the engine for a moment as the vehicle accelerates, and it is a faux shift point. There really is no shifting going on in the transmission, but it feels like it. So,
very cool.
CVTs eliminate what's called shift shock. They're very fuel efficient. They eliminate gear hunting. They accelerate better, better control over emissions, and much less complex than a 6 or an 8-speed transmission.
Very cool.
So that's CVT transmissions.
A couple of the stories making headlines this week when the final pair of Top Fuel dragsters roar down Houston Raceway Park at the conclusion of the 2022 NHRA National event. Well, that'll be the end of Texas motorsports history.
So sad.
Thank you,
there.
Angel Brothers, for bringing a
Beautiful.
spectacular facility.
Immediately following the event, the new property owners will repurpose the drag racing complex into a 1 million-foot warehouse.
Oh.
Final running of the 35th
Amazon
annual
warehouse.
Mopar Express Lane NHRA Spring Nationals presented by Pennzoil, April 22nd through the 24th. at Houston Raceway Park, and that'll be the end.
And we'll be there.
We will be there.
U.S. auto safety regulators on Wednesday urged about 50,000 owners of General Motors electric Chevrolet Bolt vehicles that were recalled last year to park outside and away from homes and other structures after charging because of fire risks.
And I'm surprised they called it a fire risk and not a thermal event.
And they also added owners should not leave vehicles charging overnight. The 50,000 Bolt vehicles are from 2017 to 2019 model years and were recalled for the potential of an unattended fire in the high-voltage battery pack underneath the back seat's bottom cushion.
Oh, boy.
So how do you get it to charge fully if you can't charge it overnight?
Keep an eye on it.
Don is having not only range anxiety, he's having thermal event anxiety.
There you go.
Because his rear end is on fire.
Honda Motor Company has a rude surprise for drivers of its leased vehicles. No more turning your car into other dealers. Carmaker said Thursday it will require the drivers with expiring leases to return their vehicles to authorized Honda and Acura dealers and refuse to accept buyouts from unaffiliated dealers or others.
I didn't know that was a problem.
Honda cited tight supplies of cars and trucks as a result of shortfalls in critical components and congestion at ports as the economy recovers. Japanese company is the latest automaker to take more control over leases and boost inventories by limiting vehicle returns to its own dealer network. GM is recalling 410,000 pickup trucks from the 2015 to 2016 model years because the roof rail airbag inflator end cap in them could detach from the inflator or the inflator sidewall could rupture. According to Safety Recall, corrosion caused by moisture introduced during the supplier manufacturing process could occur inside the inflator vessel.
We haven't learned yet, have we?
No.
Apparently not.
Vehicles 2015 through 16 GMC Sierra 1500, 2500, 3500, and 15 through 16 Silverado 1500, 2500, and 3500.
So your truck's got a rupture.
There's a lot of big words in that.
Automakers around the world continuing to trim back vehicle production plans in the face of microchip shortages, and the expected worst-case scenario continues to rise, according to Auto Forecast Solutions. But the pace of production cuts is down sharply for this week, according to Auto Forecast's weekly monitor of factory activity. AFS estimates the global manufacturers have dropped about 115,000 vehicles out of their assembly schedules in the past week.
Yikes.
Previous week cut 295,000 vehicles.
That's a lot.
Wow.
Yeah, so be prepared to wait for your next car.
And you can see that by driving around and looking at the lots at the dealerships here in Houston.
That's it for this portion of In Wheel Time. More right after these messages. We all know about aftermarket and online parts stores, and each one has something to offer, but they don't offer original factory parts. That's where Bayway comes in. For original factory parts, visit the Bayway stores first. Give them a call or stop by. Bayway Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, Bayway Chevy, and Bayway Lincoln carry a complete line of parts for the do-it-yourselfer. Keeping your newer classic original means a lot, and you can count on these fully stocked parts departments to help keep it that way. Bayway Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, Bayway Chevy, and Bayway Lincoln, keeping it original. Tailpipes and Tacos, Houston's premier monthly car cruise-in, returns Saturday, August 21st at 2 Loopy Tortilla Mexican restaurants in Katy and inside the Loop on the Southwest Freeway near Kirby. Tailpipes and Tacos is free and everyone is invited. You'll see collector cars, hot rods, customs, magnificent originals, and resto mods at 2 locations. Cars from all over Southeast Texas cruise in and show off in a friends and family event at the Loopy Tortilla Mexican Restaurant on the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard just south of I-10 in Katy, and inside the Loop on the Southwest Freeway near Kirby. Drag racer, car enthusiast, and Loopy founder Stan Holt brings you Houston's hottest cruise in. Tailpipes and Tacos at Loopy's inside the Loop on the Southwest Freeway in Kirby, and in Katy on the Grand Parkway just south of I-10, where you'll see the In Real Time Car Show. Get your ride ready and we'll see you at the Tailpipes and Tacos Saturday morning cruise-in at Loopy's in Katy and Kirby, August 21st, 8 to 11 a.m., weather permitting. You see all the new ceramic car wash cleaners on TV now, but John Gray at Gulf Coast Auto Shield has been using ceramic coatings on Houston's most expensive cars for years, and he'll tell you that nothing beats the real thing. Gulf Coast Auto Shield installs a coating over your paint that actually comes with a warranty. If you just picked up your Lambo, your Aston Martin, Porsche, Ferrari, any other exotic car, chances are your car will have company that have already found Gulf Coast Auto Shield. Now, you don't have to own an exotic. Maybe you got a truck, an SUV, or even an older vehicle that needs a little love. Well, let John Gray give it a look and give you an estimate on refurbishing that paint and making your vehicle look new again. How about getting a gift certificate for the wife's birthday or anniversary from Gulf Coast Auto Shield and tell her, honey, I know you love your car, so why don't we get it looking new again? It'll be the best gift ever, one that she'll never forget. Get hold of John Gray at gcautoshield.com or give him a call, 832-264-0670. Gulf Coast Auto Shield. That's it for this podcast episode of the In Wheel Time Car Show. I'm Don Armstrong, inviting you to join us for our live show every Saturday morning, 8 to 11 a.m. Central on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and our InWheelTime.com website. Podcasts are available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, iHeart Podcast, Podcast Addict, TuneIn, Pandora, and Amazon Music. Keep listening, and we'll see you soon.